Now, on this channel, I've spoken a lot about discerning spirits, and that's the discernment comes into play with basically every spirit, whether that's a god, a goddess, a demon, even angels and archangels. We need to know that we are dealing with the spirit that we actually want to be working with, and because of that, I've been asked to just elaborate a bit more on actually testing the spirits, because that obviously falls under discernment. So I just want to have a look at that today. Alright, before I get started, I just wanted to say hello to my youngest follower. And when I say youngest, I mean he's 2 years old. So, hello Logan. Alright, when it comes to testing spirits, and I have recently uploaded my latest video course on my website, leewjohnson.com. I'll put a link in the up top here to all of the courses on my website. But the latest one is it's demonolatry, and it's about ascension work. And ascension work is essentially moving into the astral plane or the demonic realm itself in order to speak with a particular demon directly, rather than bringing the energy of the demonic to you into your space. You actually go to their realm and actually speak to them directly. And that course actually goes very much hand in hand with my Astral Temple course. You don't need to take the Astral Temple course. I have formatted the Ascension course in a way that you don't need to have it, but it is quite a good practice to have under your belt. Alright, so testing spirits. Oh, if you do like my content, please do all the usual stuff. Hit the like, hit the subscription button if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit the notification bell so you know when new videos are coming out. And you can also hit the join button if you would like to support the channel or join the Demonic Wealth Web itself. And, you know, as I said, all the usual stuff. Share, comment. It helps with the channel, with the algorithm, etc., etc. Alright, so testing the spirits. And as I mentioned, I have done the course on ascension work, and I do elaborate on this a lot more in the course itself. But just wanted to give you an idea of what's involved, what you need to actually look out for, and what you need to do. But I have, as mentioned, also done quite a few videos on discerning spirits. So have a look out for those. When we actually meet the spirit itself, as I've mentioned before, we can often run into others or astral parasites, and they quite often pose as the spirit that we actually want to work with. And they do this because they want to get hold. They want to get a hold on you and on your life. And they then create trust, which then develops into a relationship. But the problem is that they might give you something in order to create that trust and continue that trust and continue building that relationship. But they will then do something which creates fear, anxiety, depression, etc. And that then they feed on. So it's really a case of becoming a codependent relationship, actually. And somebody who has created a relationship with a spirit, with an astral parasite, might find that they get drawn into isolation. They get told to leave all of their friends, reject their family, and it brings them into isolation, which creates depression and anxiety and all sorts of negative emotions and reactions which the astral parasite can then feed on. So when we're actually doing work where we need to test the spirit to know that it is the entity that we want to work with instead of an astral parasite which is posing as this entity, it's kind of difficult to actually teach you in this format. The best way to actually learn discernment and to learn how to test the spirits is to have somebody who knows what they're doing do it for you. So in other words, actually call in a spirit and you can then feel what it feels like, because a lot of the testing is actually what you feel, how you feel in the presence of that spirit. Now, you have to remember that usually, quite often, even for somebody who's well practiced, when they come into the presence of a god or a goddess or a demon or an archangel, whatever it may be, there is going to be an element of awe, and there is also going to be an element of probably fear or terror or something like that. But it's an exciting feeling because this energy is just is powerful, it's potent, and that itself can create a level of fear. But it's awe-inspiring, it's awesome, it's awe-filled. And there's a big difference between that and being in the presence of a spirit which is just fear and terror and makes you feel horrible, makes you feel depressed, makes you feel anxious. There's a huge difference between the two, and you actually need to experience both of those in order to know what they feel like and in order to be able to discern between the two. But that is the best way of testing the spirits. Now, as I said, the best way to experience that is to have somebody who knows what they're doing actually call a spirit in, and then you can experience the energy itself, you know how it feels, so that when you do it yourself, you then know what you're actually looking for, what kind of sensations, what kind of feelings, what kind of reactions you're actually looking for. But the difficulty is many of us, especially nowadays, work solitary. We do not have access to somebody physically in our area and nearby us who can actually do this for us. So we have to go and do it ourselves. And I did it myself. I didn't have anybody to show me or teach me. I taught myself. And the difficulty there is that there's a lot of trial and error that needs to take place. Now, when we do get into the presence of a spirit and it is possibly an astral parasite, we, especially in the beginning, we may not be sure. All right. If you do happen to get into the presence of an astral parasite and you start to build a relationship, you need to start recognizing the signs. What are they asking you to do? What feelings are you getting? What emotions, what reactions are you getting when you're in the presence of this spirit? If any of it's negative, and if it's asking you, as I've said before, if it's asking you to harm yourself or harm other people, if it's asking you to reject everybody in your life, if it's doing things which are leading to anxiety and depression, then you probably have an astral parasite. And when you have been building a relationship with that spirit, you realize at some point it's not going to work out, it's negative for me, it needs to be removed from my life, then remove it. That's not easy to do because a relationship has been built, and it's the same as a codependent relationship that we may enter into with another human being, with another physical person. We get to that point where it becomes codependent. We are dependent on that person and they are dependent on us. But the problem is it's toxic and it's destructive. But the relationship's still there, the bond's there, and that's difficult to break. We might leave, but it's almost like a drug. And as we leave, and then after a while we want it back because that's what we were used to. That's the connection we had. So we go back and then we realize again, we leave and we come back, and we keep doing this over and over again until we really do the work to actually separate and disconnect from that relationship. And you have to disconnect from it. Not easy, but we have to, because otherwise it's going to break us down, it's going to be toxic, it's going to be a relationship which is just going to hold us back. And years can go by and we don't get anywhere. And then eventually we break away properly from that relationship. And we look back and we realize how much time we've wasted. Regret comes in. You know, there's lessons to be learned, and those lessons need to be learned. So it's not really time wasted, but it's time we could have been spent doing other things, more productive and more beneficial for ourselves. And it's the same thing with the spirits, with an astral parasite. If you do build a relationship, it's exactly the same thing. You've got to disconnect from it. And the difficulty there is because it does do things for you, it does bring you things. It does, you know, you might ask for money or something you want in your life, and it will bring it to you straight away because that helps to build the trust. But at the same time, in the background, it's breaking you down, it's destroying you, it's creating things in your life which are not good for you. It is removing everybody from your life. Now, there are obviously exceptions to the rule. If you start working with a particular spirit, as I said, God, goddess, demon, angel, archangel, whatever it is, they may ask you at some point to remove something from your life. They might not ask you, they may just change things, change energies around you so that those things get removed. And that's because those things are not good for you. They are not building you up. They are not allowing your life to actually flow in the proper direction. So those things get removed in order for you to become better. But it doesn't mean that every single relationship is going to be removed from your life in order to isolate you. There's a big difference there. So, as I said, exceptions to the rule, but there are differences in the approach and differences in the actual reason for why these things are being done. So, discernment. But this video is not particularly about discernment, it's about testing the spirits. Fortunately, the two go hand in hand. So that's the easiest and best way to test the spirits, is to see how you feel, see how you react, find out what they're asking you to do. And that's the best way to actually test them. Now, if you do encounter a spirit and you're not quite sure because they are asking you to do something which is possibly not in sync with benefiting you, but in the long run it could, but you're not actually seeing that whole long process, the bigger picture, the bigger plan, whatever it is, then you need to test them. And you can ask them questions. You can ask them questions about yourself, you can ask them questions about them, you can ask them what their name is, who they are, why they're there, if they really are that's the spirit that you want to deal with, and just keep questioning them over and over and over again. Now, if you have been faced with a person who is a narcissist, or is somebody who would create that codependent relationship and become a toxic relationship for you if you were to get into a relationship with them, you know that if you question them, they are going to get defensive. If you are questioning an honest, above board person about why they are there and why they are doing what they are doing, why they are asking you to do what they are asking you to do, they will give you answers. They won't get defensive, they won't get upset with you, they will not tell you that you are being insolent or anything. They will give you the answers because they are there to help you, to teach you, to guide you. But if it's a narcissist, if it's an astral parasite, they are going to get defensive, they're going to get pissed off with you for asking questions because you should not be asking questions. That's bullshit. You should always be asking questions. So if you are asking questions and the spirit gets pissed off with you for asking questions in the first place, tell them to fuck off. Yes, we do swear on this channel occasionally. Just tell them to go away, just tell them to piss off, because they are not who they say they are. And if it is really becoming a pain in the arse and they are not leaving, do a banishing pentagram. Have a look on the internet for a banishing pentagram. If you look at my LBRP video, it's demonstrated in there. But all you do then is just draw the banishing pentagram in front of you, and you can imagine you're because you're working in an alternate reality, whether you are conscious or not conscious, trance or non-trance. You might be just be in a light trance and you're working in your physical space rather than be it doing ascension work or journey work or something like that, where you are going to their realms. Either way, you are going to be in a trance state, and you are going to you are shifted into an alternate reality or a non-ordinary reality, or as Michael Harner states, a shamanic state of consciousness. Yeah, I'm reading Michael Harner again, that's why that came up. You are going to be shifted in that space. So what you can do is you draw the banishing pentagram in front of you with your fingers, with asame, whatever you do, whatever you prefer to do, and you imagine a blue light. So you'll have a blue pentagram in front of you, and it's glowing blue, or white, or purple, or whatever color actually resonates with you to actually, it's going to be like a powerful energy and a banishing energy. Draw that in front of you, and then all you do is you push it at the spirit, and you see it go through the spirit. If the spirit disappears when you do that, it was an astral parasite. If it does not, it's probably a higher intelligence or divine intelligence, a god, goddess, demon, angel, archangel, etc., etc., etc. And then you know that the spirit you are dealing with is the one you want to deal with, or it's not. That is probably the easiest way to test the spirits. And why would a spirit not disappear when you push a banishing pentagram at it? Because it is at a higher vibration. I'm referring to lots of videos today. Have a look at the Black Hat chat that we did on banishing rites. It's mentioned in there and explained very, very well by Kai. When we do a banishing ritual, what we're doing is we are changing the vibration in our working space. And by changing that vibration, we are only allowing things in, spirits or elements or energies, which equate with that vibration or are higher. Anything which is lower to that vibration cannot stay in that space, and therefore it gets pushed out and gets pushed away. So if you are dealing with an astral parasite, doing the banishing ritual, the banishing pentagram, and pushing it at it through it, if it does not stay, it's at a lower vibration to that act, that process. A higher vibrational being, such as a divine intelligence, will not disappear, will not be affected by it, so it will stay. So then you know for certain what it is. So that really is testing the spirits. But as I said, it's usually one of those things which get taught in person by a teacher to a student. But because we are, becoming more and more, everybody's becoming more and more solitary nowadays. We are physically disconnected by distance. We're on social media and internet and email and groups and things like that more and more nowadays. And covens and physical teachers they are still available, obviously, but it's just easier to find people who you can resonate with on the internet, and therefore they may be across the world from you, so they cannot be with you physically. And because of that, because of this movement into a solitary practitioner stage, I suppose we can call it, we are needing to do things and learn things ourselves. It is good to have a teacher that you can actually sit down with and physically be with to learn a lot of the things, especially when you get into the hidden mysteries, or if there are particular practices that could cause you to spiral into a dark place or depression or anxiety or something like that. It's better to have a physical teacher who can sit with you and guide you through what you need to actually know and what you need to experience and how things feel, how energies feel, and how the spirits actually feel when they're in your presence, when they're in your space, compared to what they should not feel like. That is the best way to actually learn all of this and learn how to test the spirits. Otherwise, as I said, it's a lot of trial and error. You are going to make mistakes. When you do make mistakes, don't panic. Don't blame yourself. Don't think you did something wrong. It's just part of the learning process. And if you do encounter an astral parasite and that astral parasite is attached to you, then just do the work to get rid of it. It's as simple as that. And in order to do that, you need to do cleansing work. You can even do cord cutting if you want to. But you need to disconnect from that spirit. You need to push it away. You need to get rid of it. You need to reject it. And you need to stop relying on it. So simply do the cleansing work and just keep repeating it until it has actually taken hold and taken effect. It's probably not going to be, you do one cleansing bath and tell it to go away and it's going to go away. It might come back because, especially if you have created a solid relationship with it and it's been a long time, you are going to miss that relationship. As annoying and as depressing and as toxic as it may be, you are going to miss it. So just keep repeating the process over and over again until it's gone. All right. That's it, I think. If there's anything I've missed, just let me know in the comments. And as I said, go check out the courses. This is the last course I'm doing for a while. I'm going to bundle everything that I've done so far. I'm going to bundle into one big course with a bit of a discount. But you can go check them out. I should have that bundle up and available by the end of this week. So go and have a look for that. All right, so that's it for this week. And I hope you have a fantastic week. See you next time. Cheers for now.